here in Indianapolis for the Final Four, and the question on almost everyone's minds is, can UK win the next 2 games to finish an undefeated season with the national championship? During a season with so much hype and so many expectations, Karl Anthony Towns and Aaron Harrison talked about this year's expectations compared to last year's team that made it all the way to the championship game.
In October, it's hard for something like to think of and say, you're going to be 38-0 in the Final Four. I mean, never been done before. And obviously coming in, I knew my brothers, we had a great amount of talent, but, you never knew we were going to gel so well and this season was going to go the way it went. You just are blessed for this opportunity. You just want to take it as full amount you could take it as, cherish every moment, and just try to end the season with no regrets, and that's what we're going to try to do this weekend.
I was here the year before my year that I came in. Everyone said we were supposed to be 40-0 and things like that. We lost a bunch of games that year, so I didn't really expect that because it really doesn't matter. I mean, we went to the final game, losing however many games we lost last year. So, and that's the goal, to win the national title. So I really didn't expect it, but I mean, pretty cool to do.
So we've just heard from the Cats, and now we're joined by a man who knows more about this year's team almost than everybody except Coach Cal. We have KSTV's TJ Beisner. TJ, what do you think, or what comes to mind for you when you think about this year's team compared to last year's team?
Well, I think the experience helps them in terms of understanding that it's not about, you can't win the championship the first week of the season, and you're not going to win the game in the first 5 minutes of the second half. You have to play sustained effort throughout the entire game, and I think just for the group of guys last year, they learned that from the season overall, and then the tournament games, the way Aaron Harrison kind of saved them with some of their shots and the way they came back defensively late in those games. And then you look at Willie Cauley-Stein, the leader. He went to the NIT his first season. He had to figure out and kind of learn on the fly what it meant to be a great team, what it meant to be a great player. And every one of these guys has been improving as an individual. This team is still getting better and better. And hey, that to me, the scary part is if you're one of the other 3 teams here is we've seen Kentucky play poorly, and then they played pretty poorly against Notre Dame, but they still haven't, I think, played their best basketball. The potential is still there because they're so young and they're still getting to know each other as a team. They're still young. And I think that's a big piece of what they are and kind of figuring that out as they chase the championship.
And looking at that performance against Notre Dame, that kind of brings me to my next question. They played flat. They still pulled it out. Another big shot from Aaron Harrison down the stretch. What do you expect from Wisconsin in this game, and how do you expect UK to come out against them?
Well, Wisconsin's going to attack them sort of the same way. I think what we've seen in SEC play and in the teams that have really given Kentucky a game is you have to spread them out. You have to be able to penetrate, kick, hit some shots, after that penetration, and you have to rebound well. You have to crash the glass. Notre Dame did all of those things as well as anybody we've seen all season, and that came naturally to them because I think that's part of the game they play. They're very disciplined. They don't turn the ball over. Wisconsin's the same way. They're going to do those sorts of things. They have, for all the things Zach August did against Notre Dame, Frank Kaminsky's a better player, and that's going to be a challenge because Bo Ryan will probably pull him away from the basket, whether it's Karl Towns, Dakari Johnson at times, Willie Cauley-Stein, whoever it is, going to try to pull them away from the rim and allow some of that penetration and some of the shots at the rim and a kick back out for the 3. So the challenge will be playing disciplined defense. That's what Kentucky did not do against Notre Dame. They gave up backdoor cuts. They allowed guys to get in the lane. There was not help defense at the rim. That's going to be the challenge. And then when the shot goes in the air, if you're trying to block the shot, a guard has to come down and box somebody out because they give up too many offensive rebounds. So the challenges will be the same. Now, Notre Dame, Wisconsin, Wisconsin has made it farther. Their team, a lot of people think, is better. Wisconsin's going to have to play their best game of the season to match the execution that Notre Dame did. Notre Dame executed so perfectly in that last game. So it's going to be a tough challenge for Wisconsin, I think, to execute the way Notre Dame did. But at the same time, Kentucky's going to have to play better. The way Wisconsin plays is going to be a challenge for them, and setting up last year like another great game.
Right, and looking at last year, there was so much hype early on, the 40-0 T-shirts, and this year as the team started to win more games and stay perfect and keep winning, it almost seemed like the pressure continued to build, and we've now seen, 38-0 T-shirts, and I mean, people are making a lot of money selling these T-shirts off of this year's team. Do you think that there will be a point during this Final Four where the hype finally gets to this team where it gets a little too big after hearing about it all season long?
I don't think so. I think part of what this team has going forward is they dealt with all that last year, the disappointment, the expectations, feeling like they didn't live up to it. And then within that season, they still rebounded. They made a run to the championship game. So I think it was there last season for half the year. Now it's gone. This team, I think, understands that, this is not the end of basketball for them. And that's the reality of a lot of these guys will be in the NBA next season. And this is their last chance as a team, as brothers, as they call each other. This is their last stop and their last opportunity to make history and leave their mark on the program, because this is a program where there have been a lot of great teams, a lot of championships. If they want to be remembered as more than just the team that started 38-0 or the team that started 39-0, they're going to have to win the national championship. And I think that's more of a challenge that is embraced than a weight that's been carried, because in that locker room they're having fun. They're young kids and they're enjoying it. They're having fun, much like Wisconsin is. And I think that allows them to just shake off the pressure and say, you know what, we're going to play basketball. And aside from that, they're really good. So that makes it a little easier.
It definitely does. And when you have that much talent, it's so easy to spread the ball around and be confident in the guy next to you. So you guys have been here. You and Bradley from KSTV crew have been here since yesterday. Do you care to give the folks at home a little sneak peek about what's coming up on KSTV later tonight?
Yeah, we're going to hear from John Calipari and break down some of the matchups in the Wisconsin game, his thoughts on Willie Cauley-Stein, how that's going to factor in, and all kinds of good stuff. We're just getting started. We're going to be really tired by the time Monday hits, but as of right now, we got some energy, and maybe we'll get some good food tonight.